The Golden Age of Piracy, which spanned from the late 17th century to the early 18th century, was a time when the seas were ruled by infamous pirates such as Blackbeard, Calico Jack and Anne Bonny. These pirates, who targeted merchant ships, often used fast and agile vessels to outmaneuver naval forces, relying on a combination of swiftness, firepower and tactical cunning to achieve their goals. The ships they sailed on played a critical role in the piracy that defined this era. These pirates, who targeted merchant ships, often used fast and agile vessels to outmaneuver naval forces, relying on a combination of swiftness, firepower and tactical cunning to achieve their goals. The ships they sailed on played a critical role in the piracy that defined this era. Among the various types of ships used by pirates, the man-of-war, war galleon, frigate and sloop stand out for their distinct roles and characteristics. The man-of-war was the most formidable warship of the 17th and 18th centuries, known for its size, firepower and ability to dominate naval warfare. This vessel was typically a large multi-deck ship ranging from 50 to 100 guns and could carry anywhere from 300 to 800 men. The term man-of-war was originally used to describe any heavily armed warship, but it came to be synonymous with ships of the line, powerful vessels designed to engage in fleet actions. For pirates, the man-of-war was both an imposing adversary and, in some cases, a coveted prize. While pirates usually preferred smaller, faster ships that could easily be maneuvered to catch slower merchant vessels, they also targeted large warships like the man-of-war when the opportunity arose. The man-of-war's sheer firepower made it a dangerous enemy, but it also made it a target for daring pirate captains who sought to add such ships to their fleets. One of the most notable examples of a pirate ship resembling a man-of-war was the Queen Anne's Revenge, famously commanded by the notorious Blackbeard. Originally a French slave ship, La Concorde was captured by Blackbeard in 1717, outfitted with 40 guns, and renamed the Queen Anne's Revenge. Though not as large as the typical man-of-war, Blackbeard's ship carried a heavy armament that allowed him to threaten even the most formidable naval forces. The man-of-war was also instrumental in naval combat during the Golden Age of Piracy. Ships of the line were designed to form a battle line, delivering devastating broadsides against enemy vessels. Pirates who managed to capture a man-of-war could use its immense firepower to dominate the seas and intimidate other ships, whether they were merchant vessels or naval forces. The War Galleon was another type of warship commonly used during the Golden Age of Piracy, particularly by European powers such as Spain, Britain and Portugal. Derived from earlier Mediterranean galleys, galleons were large, three-masted ships designed to carry heavy artillery and perform a variety of military functions, including protecting merchant fleets, engaging in combat and supporting long voyages. The War Galleon was an evolution of this design, built specifically for the demands of naval warfare during the Age of Sail. War galleons were typically between 100 and 150 feet long and could carry anywhere from 30 to 60 guns. Their size made them slower and less maneuverable than smaller ships, but they were heavily armed and could carry large crews, sometimes exceeding 400 men. The galleon's combination of firepower and cargo capacity made it an ideal vessel for naval warfare and colonial expansion. Pirates often targeted war galleons because of their valuable cargo. These ships were used to transport precious goods, such as gold, silver and spices across the Atlantic, making them prime targets for pirates. The Spanish treasure fleets, in particular, were often preyed upon by pirates seeking to plunder their rich cargoes. Despite their size and firepower, war galleons had a vulnerability. Their large hulls made them less agile and harder to maneuver in battle. Pirates took advantage of this by using smaller, faster ships, such as sloops or brigantines, to outmaneuver the more cumbersome war galleons. Once pirates had closed the distance, they could board the war galleon and overpower the crew in a close-quarter fight. One of the most famous pirates to capture a war galleon was Sir Henry Morgan, a Welsh privateer who attacked Spanish galleons in the Caribbean during the late 17th century. Morgan's daring raids against Spanish treasure ships made him one of the most notorious pirates of his time, and his success was in part due to his ability to outwit and overpower larger, more heavily armed ships with his smaller, faster vessels. The frigate was another type of warship that played a prominent role during the Golden Age of Piracy. Frigates were smaller than the man-of-war and war galleon, but still heavily armed and capable of holding their own in battle. They were designed to be fast, maneuverable, and capable of independent operations, making them ideal for reconnaissance, escort duties, and fast attacks. A typical frigate of the period carried around 30 to 50 guns and had a crew of around 150 to 250 men. Frigates were the backbone of many naval fleets during the Golden Age of Piracy, especially for nations like Britain and France, who used them to protect trade routes and hunt down pirates. Their speed and maneuverability made them formidable opponents in battle, and pirates often found themselves facing off against these nimble warships when attempting to raid merchant ships or other pirates. One of the key advantages of the frigate was its versatility. Unlike the larger, slower ships of the line, frigates could be used in a variety of roles, from convoy protection to solo raiding. This made them an ideal vessel for both naval forces and pirates alike. Pirates who managed to capture a frigate could often turn it into a powerful tool for further raids, as the ship's speed and firepower allowed it to easily overpower smaller merchant vessels or even challenge larger, more heavily armed warships. The infamous pirate Blackbeard, for example, was known to have used a captured frigate to attack merchant vessels and other ships during his raids. In one of his most daring attacks, Blackbeard's crew ambushed a British naval ship, the HMS Scarborough, and captured it despite the frigate's superior firepower. This raid demonstrated the versatility and effectiveness of frigates in the hands of experienced pirates. Perhaps the most iconic pirate ship of the Golden Age of Piracy was the sloop. The sloop was a small, single-masted vessel that was highly favoured by pirates for its speed, agility and ease of handling. Sloops typically carried 10 to 20 guns and had a crew of between 40 and 100 men. Due to their smaller size, sloops could outrun larger warships, making them ideal for pirates who wanted to avoid direct combat or escape from naval patrols. The sloop's ability to sail quickly and maneuver around obstacles made it an excellent choice for pirates who relied on surprise attacks and hit-and-run tactics. Pirates could use sloops to chase down slow-moving merchant ships, board them, and quickly flee before a naval response could be mounted. This made the sloop the quintessential pirate vessel, and many of the most famous pirates of the era, including Blackbeard and Bartholomew Roberts, were known to sail sloops. One of the most famous sloops in pirate lore was the Revenge, captained by the pirate Stede Bonnet. The Revenge was a sloop that Bonnet had outfitted with 10 guns and used to raid British and American ships in the early 1700s. Though Bonnet was often portrayed as an inexperienced pirate, his choice of the sloop demonstrated the effectiveness of these vessels in pirate operations. Despite their smaller size, sloops were well armed and could pack a punch in a skirmish. The sloop's maneuverability also made it a challenging target for enemy ships, and many pirates preferred to use them for hit-and-run tactics rather than engaging in prolonged battles. Pirates who sailed sloops could easily strike and then retreat, ensuring they avoided the risk of being overwhelmed by larger, more heavily armed ships. The ships of the Golden Age of Piracy were diverse and specialized, with each type playing a unique role in the complex world of piracy. From the massive and heavily armed man-of-wars to the smaller, agile sloops, each ship had its own advantages and challenges. Pirates chose their ships based on their needs, with larger vessels used for raiding heavily fortified targets and smaller, faster ships used for quick strikes and evasive maneuvers. The naval powerhouses of the time, such as the War Galleon and the Frigate, posed significant threats to pirates, but their slower speeds and cumbersome handling often made them vulnerable to the swifter, more nimble pirate vessels. In the end, it was the combination of tactics, intelligence and the right ship that allowed pirates to rule the waves during the Golden Age of Piracy. Please like and subscribe for more historical content just like this.